People always say this one thing: start is the most important thing. But I differ. I believe that the most important thing than the start is the reason behind the start, the why behind the start. Because the why is the single most biggest reason for your start and the single most biggest reason for your failure. Stronger the why, more possibility for the success. Hi, I am Pramod Chandrasekhar, founder of Last Triple and Coin Contra, my two brainchilds. And today I'll talk about my why, my reason, my humble journey which made me what I am today. One idea, one step, one vision. These three things made me what I am today. I'll want all of you to travel along with me so that I'll take you all back 6 years down the lane. I was graduating from a beautiful 12th standard, is what I would say. My dad wanted me to choose commerce. My mother wanted me to do a CA. My family wanted me to go to a commerce field. But then I always was crazy about myself, which made me to do something different. And I thought, what if I be the first lawyer of my family? What if I would be this advocate who would be as cool as Suits and as cool as Harvey Specter, right? And I did choose law after my 12th. Wrote the toughest entrance exam, one of the toughest entrance exams, and got into one of the best schools of our country. But after choosing law, after my first year of graduation in my law school, it's a 5 years, by the way, so it's a 5 year journey. So it's difficult for you to come out of law school within a year's time. So after my first year of law school life, I thought to myself, this is not for me. Law was not my calling. So I decided that, you know what, Pramod, you have two options. Either you quit law school or you make the law school more happening. So I asked to myself, what can Pramod Chandrasekhar do to make his law school life more happening? Because I think many of you are not knowing how a law school life is. It's boring, miserable, and terrible. Ask me about it. So getting back to the same discussion, I gave myself a 12-month window saying that, you know what, Pramod, do something in your law school which makes you feel awesome. If not, quit law school. But then something beautiful happened, or tragic happened. My grandma's death. April 2018, she passed away. And then I really loved my grandma like most of you do. But what happened, something after her death was what made me to be where I am today. Though being a Bangalorean, though being rooted in Karnataka, though knowing everybody in Bangalore, we couldn't get the ambulance on time. We couldn't get the puja on time. We couldn't even get the BBMP cremation slot for her on time. Right? Everything was a mess. My point is, when you can get a Domino's pizza in 30 minutes, why can't you get something as beautiful or as important as death logistics or death rituals or death something structured, right? That was my biggest reason or my biggest calling to start something which transitioned to be where I am today right now. So April 2018, she passed away, and 4 months I was literally asking myself, how can I make death better? What can I do as an individual to make death better? How can the negativity around death be waved off at least a little bit? And last thing, how can Bangalore deaths be more structured? I, being a law student, dig deep into a lot of things, research and stuff, but then there was no answer because the only answer for death in India is family, friends, and connections, right? Which made me wonder, why isn't there a startup in India which is focusing on death logistics or death aggregation? So my goal was to become the Ola for death, right? It might sound fancy and funny, but it was not actually funny and fancy because death in India is a taboo. Death in India is traumatic, and making a startup revolving around death was something not everybody's cup of tea. Being a law student, not having any experience, zero experience in business, not even knowing this term called entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, it was difficult for me to start something. But then what happened, something was magic, right? Because like Mark Zuckerberg rightly said, ideas never come fully formed. Ideas come shattered, ideas come broken, ideas come horrible. Your journey with the idea makes the idea beautiful. Likewise, I made into this journey called Making Death Beautiful, making my first organization, Last Triple Foundation. Last Triple Foundation was my first venture to make death beautiful. However, did it was something fascinating and beautiful, which made me very, very happy. Back in those days, there was this concept called planting a tree for every death back in the Western states. I was wondering, what if in India we can get this concept called planting a tree for every death? I did make a fancy PPT, went to my economics and business professors in my university, spoke to them, and they said this might not work, right? Then after a lot of series of iteration, filtration, and moderation, one of the juries and one of my friends told, Pramod, what if you start Last Triple for pets? And I was like, nice. That was the start of Last Triple. So 2018 December, Last Triple was born with this one humble effort and initiative to make sure that Last Triple was India's first pet death aggregation platform, where we become a all of our pet death. And for every undertaking we take in terms of pet's death, we planted a tree. And 5 years down the lane, I'm so proud and so humble to share you that we have helped 50,000 families in India in death. 50,000 lives in India were turned into a beautiful form of a tree, a beautiful form of a bonsai, a beautiful form of a life after death. But I was not stopping there. COVID came, and during COVID, we did something even more strange. We launched multiple ambulances and multiple carcass management teams during COVID to help the families fight death in difficult times. I'll tell you this one incident which still is filled with my heart. A pregnant lady near MG Road called us during the peak COVID in Bangalore. Like most of you know, in Bangalore, during peak COVID, the roads were blocked, and you were asked to get a special license or a special permission from the government of Karnataka to move your vehicle out of your doorstep. And randomly, this lady from MG Road got my number. She called me around 11 in the night, peak COVID in Bangalore. And she asked me that, you know what, I'm pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnant right now, and my dog is infected. My dog passed away. And then I want you to help me to make my dog's death possible, the last rites possible. I said, ma'am, it's not possible because the vehicles were not permitted to move in the roads of Bangalore, right? But then she requested. I spoke to my mom saying that, ma, this lady wants my help to make her dog's last rites possible. She's in MG Road. I stay near Hebbal, so 20 kilometers up and down, right? So I wear my mask, spoke to a local driver, Anna, in my area, went in my Omni van. We had a Omni van for luggage. We took that Omni van, took the pet body from her apartment, went to the BBMP crematorium, cremated the pet body, got the ashes. After a month's time, her dog was a tree in Kaban Park. She cried. Her husband thanked me in person after he came down from another city. And this one incident made me to realize that, you know what, Pramod, even after graduation, I don't want you to stop Last Triple, because in Last Triple, it's difficult to make money, but it is beautiful to make emotions and memories and cherishing those memories. So, having that said, this was my start of my entrepreneurship journey. My trauma of my grandma's death became Last Triple and became a source for many families to focus on making death beautiful. But like I said, I was still restless in my law school. My law school life was 5 years journey, and like I said, second year I made Last Triple. I had third year, fourth year, and fifth year to pass. So what happened in my fourth year was I was getting a hang of handling law school and Last Triple, right? What happened after that was Last Triple went into an autopilot mode. We had amazing volunteers, amazing team to make Last Triple a beautiful NGO filled with volunteers. And Last Triple, like I said, had a lot of achievements, lot of credentials, hell lot of volunteers supporting the initiative. So what I did was I took a step back. I wanted to do something different apart from Last Triple. So I think most of you know that the cryptocurrency boom happened just after the COVID. So I don't know what went into me. I really wanted to do trading, stock markets, cryptocurrency investments. I did save up a lot of money, took a lot of money from my savings, put in the market, it doubled. I was happy. But over a period of 3 months, I lost it all. I literally burnt my hands. So what did I do? Again went into my savings, took some more money, put in the market. Again I lost it. So 18 months, starting from my fourth year of law school until my graduation, I lost, lost a lot of money. And then exactly 3 months before my graduation, I genuinely wanted to ask one thing to myself. Pramod, you have last triple. Pramod, you have a graduation. You will have an amazing law degree with you. Should you pursue last triple and handle your law life, or stop law life completely and focus on something else? But after my losses of share market, I was so demotivated that I couldn't even think something beyond graduating first. So graduation happened. Last triple was still autopiloted in terms of getting the volunteer body structured. So what I did was something fascinating, right? I didn't sit for placements. I didn't sit for any job offers. I did get a lot of job offers considering my credibility in my law school. So I chose not to do it. So I came to my home, sat, did nothing for 3 months after my graduation. Fourth month, again felt restless because my life was completed with restlessness. Restless that, restless this. And I really wanted a rhythm in my life. To get my life on a rhythm, I wanted to go for a 9 to 5 job. Now, starting a company at 19, being one of the coolest CEO of your law school, coming from a very, very classy, startup hustling life, I didn't think of a job, but then to get my life to rhythm, I went for a job. That was my second turning point. Like I said, my grandma's death was my first turning point, which gave me the why to start Last Triple. Then came me going for a job because I really felt that I needed a rhythm. I applied for a very small position in a digital marketing agency based out of Bangalore. But what happened there was fascinating. I mean, there's a saying from a lot of physiological, psychological people across the world, right? Universe makes it happen. Universe makes it happen. Law of attraction, all of that stuff. So once I went into this job in a Bangalore-based company, very small role. What happened? Something there was fascinating. The founder observed my potential. He gave me to head a complete education wing of their company because they were wanting to start a digital marketing course curriculum for their students and for their employees. And once I was heading the whole education wing in the company, what happened was my knowledge wide open in terms of the edtech market or the edtech industry or education as a whole segment. I realized that education is still not saturated. Education is still very, very deep and very, very lucrative in terms of the money as well as in terms of the outcome. So I thought to myself, what if, Pramod, you start something in finance education? Because after I lost lakhs and lakhs of rupees in share market, of course, due to mismanagement of funds and mismanagement of trading, I thought there would be many, many promotes, many people in 20s in India who are crazy about share market and stock markets, who want to double their money, triple their money, quadruple their money, not knowing how to do it and what to do it and when to do it. So that was my second biggest calling, to start a finance wellness platform or a finance education platform. Then came Coin Contra, my second startup. Coin Contra's humble vision was to make something very simple, finance fun, and more simple for students and adults to understand. So I resigned from my job exactly after a year's time. And I have Nandini, my co-founder, was sitting right here, who was my reporting manager in my company. I somehow convinced her to walk along with me to resign her lucrative job. She was getting double the salary than me, of course. So I asked her to quit her job, walk along with me to make Coin Contra happen because even she was crazy about stock markets. And she was a beautiful soul who said, yes, I'll quit. So we both came out of the company, launched Coin Contra, and it's been almost a year in Coin Contra. And I'm very proud again because this time we didn't talk about this aspect called death. we spoke this aspect called money. Money is again not spoken, and it's again very, very stigmatic to talk about how much you make, how much you save, how much you have, what's your net worth, what's your property, what's your asset class. So again, just like death, money is a taboo in India, right? Unfortunately or coincidentally, both my startup ventures were taboos. One was death, one was money. So I and Nandini made sure that we made Coin Contra into a fun-filled startup or a platform. It's been 11, 12 months since we have launched the company, and what I can tell you is something beautiful. We have reached to more than 25 campuses across India in last 12 months, reaching over 20 lakh students talking about finance and money. And the beauty is, we are very proud to tell you that more than 1,000 students started their SIPs. And that means 1,000 individuals having their demat account, making that first investment starting from their college, which is a very, very, very huge thing for a startup like Coin Contra. But then I didn't stop there, because just like all of you know, I'm always restless and hungry to do something different and something more fascinating. After my law school came Last Triple. After Last Triple came Coin Contra. After Coin Contra, I was thinking, how can I reach to more people? And one of my friends said, you know what? Write a book. So I wrote a book. And that journey was even more fascinating, because 70,000 words in paper form is not a joke. Of course, ChatGPT is there. Of course, AI is there. So, but of course, it took a lot of effort, is what I would say if you talk to a book reader. So I, along with multiple help in my society, in my community, we wrote a book called Bleeding Markets. And the book did great. The book did amazing. And as of today, even the book is sold in multiple universities across India for students as a guide for financial wellness and independence. And after that, I didn't stop. Why should I stop? Because I'm always restless and I'm always hungry for doing something different. Then right now, I am making a structure, or I am talking to people in the space of sports gaming or sports betting to legalize and getting to get a better structure in the sports gambling space. Because just like most of you know, IPL is booming, sports betting is booming. A lot of apps come in and go, so there comes a lot of legal and lot of regulations that should be structured there. So right now I'm focusing on sports gambling and sports gaming rather, right? So getting back to the whole discussion, all I want to tell you all is my journey was never a straight road. It was bumpy, filled with confusions, filled with trauma, filled with positivity, filled with negativity, filled with a lot of joy and excitement. But one thing which kept me going on and on and on and on was my why. The single most reason is my why. Because be it Last Triple, be it Coin Contra, be it my sports regulation thing that I'm going on right now, or be it the book, everything that happened in my life, starting from 19 to where I'm at 25, 6 years, has been a beautiful journey because of this one thing called why. If the why is strong, your journey will be strong. If your journey is strong, pretty much you will be successful, is what I would say, because success or failure is only determined because of your why, because your why is your energy. Before I conclude my whole conversation right now, I want all of you to go back today, take a piece of paper, take your pen, don't write in pencil because pencil sucks. Take a pen, blank sheet, because blank sheet gets creativity. Write your top three goals that you want to do. Be it traveling, be it dating, be it buying a bike, be it, starting a company, be it graduating with distinction, and ask yourself, why am I wanting to do this? Why should I hit the gym? Why should I travel? Why should I network? Why should I start a company? Right? If money is your why, you will never succeed. I think many of the entrepreneurs sitting on the front row right now would connect with this. If money would have been the single most reason for where you are right now, you would have been an utmost failure in your 20s or 30s or 40s, right? Because money is the byproduct of your beautiful journey. Because the why is the first step, then comes the how, and then comes the money, right? So My journey, like I said, being a law student, starting last triple an NGO, becoming an author, then starting a finance wellness company, and then again going back to my law with sports regulation. I think my journey was nothing short of a RCB match, right? I think just like how RCB bowlers give runs, take wickets, give runs, take wickets. I think my journey was nothing short of an RCB thriller because every 6 months I was a new person. Every year I used to ask myself, what can Pramod Chandrasekhar do to become not boring, right? Because I am ultra ambitious, which made me to do a lot of stuff, which I'm grateful. So right now, before I conclude my entire conversation, I'll tell this one powerful quote which I resonate with all my life from Steve Jobs. It is impossible to connect the dots looking forward. It is only possible that it's only possible to connect the dots looking backward. What he means from this is if you start something today, being April 2025, you would never know what's going to happen 5 years down the lane. You would never know what's going to happen 6 months down the lane. If you start a company right now, you would never know is it a success or a failure or a miserable idea, right? All that matters is starting right now and seeing the fruits. So right now, if I turn back and see my 6 years of my journey to co-found CoinContra, to write a book, to found an NGO, to graduate from a law school, everything is interconnected. One step wrong would have made me to go 10 steps far or 10 steps away or 10 steps near. You never know, right? Because that is the beauty of life. So I humbly request all of you to find your why because without why, all our lives would be little miserable, little boring, and most importantly, not thrilling, right? Because why is the most important part in everybody's life. Find that reason, find that why, find that wanting that you want to do in your life because if something is calling you, go for it. Be it sports, be it content creation, be it law, be it startup, whatever, right? Money will definitely flow to you, just like how water flows in the Kaveri River, right? Thank you so much.